Keep the master until you like at least the first draft, until you get all of the raw content onto that drive. Now, the drive might be the external, or you might, for whatever reason, use the actual hard drive of the computer you're working on just temporarily. When I say temporarily, until you're done with the first draft. Now, if you're editing that thing for a month or longer, you're going to want to think about dragging and dropping all that stuff over. Now, once you do that, you have to go back and reassert the files into the software. So there is a coding function you have to be willing to tell the computer to do. The software only does what we tell it to do. Whether we intended to do that thing or we accidentally pressed the wrong button because I wasn't paying attention, and oh, my wife called and I pushed the Cleveland blow up because I pushed the wrong button. The computer, it's not his fault because you pressed the wrong damn button on accident. Okay, hence the term butt dialing, Mr. Editor. There is no such thing there is no quick fix to that. You're going to manually go back and fill in the blanks if you've transferred all your data off that original drive. If you've done I need space here, the computer thinks you've moved out. You took that data and said, I don't need you anymore, goodbye. That's what the computer thinks. It's not wrong. It's doing what it's told in the order of operations of when it's told. That's where you got to pay attention to your planning. Always edit on paper first when humanly possible. Get yourself yellow pads, white pads, I don't care what, and write down exactly what your goal is edit-wise, and start there. Now, it doesn't have to be exact, but it's really going to help you. And as far as time goes, that's going to be a little bit flexible because there's going to be changes that inevitably happen throughout your project. Certain things have to be calculated, precise, and certain things have some flexibility. It's a piece of plastic. You're eventually going to make mistakes. The more mistakes you make, the better you get and the more you learn, and your next project's going to be that much better. Every master of the industry will tell you the same thing. All right. Let's say you've got your data on your hard drive. You've figured out a way to push the data from a widget to another widget. And now you're able to see the file. Look, we did it. I can see my God, I'm ugly. Okay. And you're going to have that realization where you look at the movie and go, I'm trying to sell Amway. I'm trying to sell Tupperware like this. Oh my God, is Pampered Chef going to kill me? It'll happen. You're gonna look at yourself and go, I need a haircut now. It's going to happen. Don't panic. You want to get the protocol down. You want to get steps of efficiency to a point where you just get in the car and drive. You've got your 30 seconds of whatever it is. Now remember, that footage is only precious to you, but it is precious to you. And in order for it to become precious to somebody else, you got to present it well. And you start thinking about, well, should I have been sitting over here like this? Or should I have been sitting over here like this? Or should I have been back here like this? Or should I be right here like this? And then you start thinking, maybe I ought to lose weight because I'm a little chubby here. Should I have shaved? Is the dog going back and forth a distraction? Yeah, it is. Lose the dog. So you finally get your message in place. You start to make cuts. And you start to realize, my voice sounds terrible. Okay, you're going to start realizing there are things about, now I happen to have a voice that I've had people that were, I sat down at one event where the guy says, yeah, so I happen to be the sports news director at NBC, Las Vegas. And I'm like, oh, cool. I like that. And his next words to me, I swear to God, his next words to me were, you have a natural broadcasting voice. Can you get me a demo? Now, I didn't get him a demo, but the flattery stayed with me. My point is, you may or may not have that voice. You might have the voice that talks like this, and we're going, oh, dear God, please stop talking. You might have the voice that talks. You don't know. When you finally hear yourself, you got to accept that you're either going to be tone deaf about your own voice, or you might want to look into voiceovers, like somebody else talking on your behalf. Does that mean it's going to be like one of those Asian movies from the 1960s? Well, no. It means maybe you want to step away from the camera and let someone else come in and do it. Hence the term spokesperson. Now let's presume for a second you sound good enough, you look good enough to get through 30 seconds of hello, my name is. and you can start to edit. Every software has its own language of telling you the buttons and what to push. Before you spend time, energy, and emotion, or maybe some blood, on trying to edit something that really matters, use that test footage to try to carve it into, okay, timeline. What do these cuts mean? What do these arrows mean? Go to the help sections, watch as many tutorials as possible. Again, one of my reasons for doing this is with all of the video tutorials I found on YouTube alone, why isn't movie making better? And the answer is there's too much confusion and you guys don't know who to trust or what to trust when it comes to your particular project. And here's the reality. You don't need to learn how to be an editor. You just need to learn what to ask when you need to do the task. Like, I'm not a chef, but I know how to go in the kitchen and make myself breakfast. I don't need to learn how to cook every meal. I just need to learn enough to know what I'm making for me. Okay? That's what this is. Now, you need to accept the fact that your style could be so clumsy that when you try to show the movie, it's not going to have the dramatic effect that you're hoping for. So bear this in mind. You may not tell your audience how to feel about whatever it is you're trying to do. If they don't react the way you want them to, you may not get upset. Go, I worked so hard on that. I worked hard on that. Why aren't you laughing? Would you laugh at that? Why aren't you becoming emotional about? Don't you care? Yeah. What were you trying to do again? I was making a movie about cancer. It doesn't talk about cancer, but it implies. Okay, and you're arguing with your audience. Off limits. The audience reserves the right to respond any way they see fit. You may not predict nor dictate the response of your audience. And you're going to have an audience reaction you don't expect.
And when the trailer started, the audience booed Bruce. And I go, well, these are these, West Side jerks, But then like before the weekend was over, I heard from everybody involved in the movie that everywhere, New York, LA, everywhere, people were booing and laughing at Bruce Willis's appearance in the trailer.
It's going to happen. Wait for it. Now, let's assume you're mature enough to accept the fact the audience, and probably the most difficult response, especially for people who are trying to do comedy or drama, the most difficult response you're going to get is silence.
Give their sketch a spot at the dress tonight. Let them hear what 300 people not laughing sounds like.
Which is why this is actually a perfect environment. This, or go into the bathroom, or go into your private bedroom or a closet or someplace that is absolutely dead silent. Do your material in there and get used to the sound of silence as your reaction, and just get through your story. Don't ever wait for the audience to react. If you watch shows like Seinfeld and other TV shows that came after, the laugh track starts first and it's fake and it's pre-recorded on purpose, because they're not playing for you the audience that laughed. They're playing for you a track of another audience that tells you that they think it's funny to inspire the laughter. That's the difference between the two.
Well, love.
Everybody got that? Okay. Live audiences laughing is a rare thing. It's less common. I know that in some cities where they do a lot of live comedy, I would hear, "Oh, yeah, have you ever had a live audience?" Yeah, actually, I have. I'm sorry you weren't there for it. 9 people is not enough. Can't finance the house on that unless they're all the CEOs of a company writing $1 million checks. Know your audience. Let your audience breathe and be who they are and respond as they see fit. Okay? And you're going to get the guy who goes, "You made me laugh.
I like you."